mic. Is my head cut off on the screen now?
No, you're good.
Okay. Welcome back. You're watching Liquid Lunch on Biz TV. You're listening, hopefully, on Biz Talk Radio around the country. And our new friends out at the Money Station in Portland, Oregon. Bitcoin up 1,000, Dow up 58. A little bit of a recovery mode this afternoon, so your portfolio is hanging in there pretty okay. Nothing crazy to report out there, but some craziness abound with our intelligence agencies, and it seems like now a long-told lie is being unearthed. And to go behind the headlines on the whole UFO story, Karyn Turk joins us for a second segment today. Karyn, what's going on? The UFOs are upon us.
Yeah, 2020, if 2020 wasn't weird, 2021 is already setting up to be even weirder. And, little known fact, in the COVID relief bill, written in there was a segment that asked for disclosure of all UFO and the unidentified aerial phenomena, UAF, disclosure from our government agencies. And yesterday, the CIA actually disclosed and dumped a lot of documents on UFOs. And it looks like they may be prepping us for, people coming forward and saying that, yes, UFOs have been in contact with the U.S. and this is very real, as wild as it sounds.
Well, I guess, about a year ago, they declassified some videos of some naval aviators tracking this unidentified flying object that the guys were in shock at how fast it was moving. The guys in the plane were saying they never seen anything like it. Is there anything in these newly disclosed documents from the CIA that adds fuel to that fire, or you think it's just a prep operation?
Yeah, I think it's a prep. I mean, there is a bunch of stuff in there, and there's some stuff on that incident which happened in 2004, which was, the footage that a lot of us have seen with those sort of tic-tac shaped white objects that were defying gravity. And one of them dropped from like 80,000 feet to 20,000 and I don't even know, like an eighth of a second, which is just completely, that's like the liquefying gravity. It's incredible. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there. A lot of these documents are still redacted, however. So it goes to show that the government still wants to make it difficult for the public to get the real information. A lot of these documents, too, were given and leaked on CD-ROM, which I think is kind of crazy that our government is still using CD-ROMs. But, go figure. I'm not surprised. We got a lot of ancient things happening over there, including Nancy Pelosi. So a CD-ROM doesn't surprise me too much. But it's been wild to watch. And there's been, UFO sightings were up 283% over 2018. So there's been a lot more people that are seeing this phenomenon and reporting it. And the New York Post has been doing a very good job of covering all of these incidents, including one last week where a craft was spotted over Oahu. And then we also had a very dedicated astronomer come forward and say that they found what might be an alien artifact traveling through space. It looks like a rock. It may be some sort of a remnant, of an asteroid, but the dimensions don't match up, and there's a lot of very strange phenomena with this thing. I think they're calling it like Owanawa, and it's been interesting to watch that as well. So I do think that they're teeing up to give us information that's going to shock the public, but trying to butter us up a little bit so it's not as shocking when it comes out.
I'm adding some alien sound effects to the broadcast.
You should. We talked a few weeks ago about this very dedicated, Israeli space commander. This guy was a brigadier general.
That's right.
And he does have a book to sell. He's 87 years old. His name is Hamish Shed. And he's come forward and said that Israel and the U.S. have been in touch with aliens, and that, there is this whole intergalactic federation that even has a base on Mars. I mean, this sounds really far-fetched,
yeah,
but it makes you wonder, when you see all this stuff coming out, sometimes there's a little bit of truth in everything. And that's why I like to go behind the headlines, is because I like to find that little bit of truth behind the headlines. And I think here there may be some truth, and we may be in for some big surprises this year.
Well, maybe. the galactic Martian base on Mars is where the CIA is scanning all the watermark ballots, and they're getting all the stormtroopers together with the papier-mâché swords to attack the Capitol and take all these traitors into custody. I mean, I want to put all the conspiracy theories into one behind the headline.
Perhaps there you go. Maybe they're actually, designing them off of Pinterest. You never know. That's the best place to make your paper mache swords these days.
These lizard people too. You know what I mean? We got to make the paper mache lizard heads.
I really got to tell you something. As much as I don't believe in this, this shadow government that's ruled by reptilian aliens, honestly, in the last week or so, I've started to think that maybe there's some truth here, because really, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, they may be reptilian aliens. They're as close as we have right now.
You know what? At this point, anything is possible, because I just can't believe what's happening. That Angela Merkel, no fan of Donald Trump, right? The Chancellor of Germany. Certainly, their country knows the scars of a dictator. But she said, in response to this censorship on Trump, she said that it's not the dictator who is silenced. It is those who are doing the silencing that are the dictators. And I don't think these guys realize, or maybe they do. Nancy Pelosi and the Democratic progressives are in bed with all these wackos from Silicon Valley, and they're really dictating to us through a technocracy.
Absolutely. No, it's fascism as its finest. I mean, that's what it is. And, we're watching communism happen right before our eyes, and we gotta wake everybody else up, and we gotta stand up against it. It's been great being on. I have to run because they're going to use the studio at 1:00, and I didn't know I was going to be on for 2 segments, but I love you for having me on for 2, and I want to come back next week.
All right. Well, when do I get to come back on Behind the Headlines?
You do. You're going to come back on. I'm going to be in touch with you after we get off the show, and we're going to figure that out.
See,
I'm going to have you back very, very soon.
I have to force it. It's like,
no, you never do. You're the best.
All right, that's my friend Karyn Turk. She goes behind the headlines all the time. Former Mrs. Florida, political activist, commentator, and one of the best in the business. Thanks for doing double duty with us today. Thank you for being there. Hour 1, Portland, Biz Talk Radio. We'll see you and hear from you tomorrow. Everyone else, stick right with us. Hour 2 coming at you right after this.